an investigation of that death, were you able to determine who killed Kevin Mullins?
Yes.
And how were you able to do that?
Video surveillance footage.
Tense moments in a Morgan County courtroom as surveillance video appeared to show Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Steins gunning down Judge Kevin Mullins on September 19th. The portion of the video used at the preliminary hearing appeared to show Steins walking into the judge's chambers with a gun, Mullins with his hands up, and Steins firing multiple shots. When Mullins retreats behind his desk, Steins appears to follow, firing again. In the courtroom, Steins' family silent on one side, Mullins' family sobbing on the other. During cross-examination, KSP Detective Clayton Stamper testified about an exchange between Steins and Mullins not shown in the footage shared at the hearing.
Sheriff Steins uses his telephone to make some phone calls. He then borrows Judge Mullins' cell phone and appears to make a call on that. And that led to what you just saw.
Stamper said Sheriff Steins tried to call his daughter from Mullins' phone, and her cell phone number was already in the judge's phone. Defense lawyer Jeremy Bartley indicating the contents of those cell phones could be telling.
Let's be candid here. This is a man that has served Letcher County, his people there in some form of capacity for 22 years. And the testimony that I heard was that this was not planned. So I don't think it is that far of a stretch to say that whatever happened in the moments that we didn't see today were the precipitating factor.
Bartley said he had lingering questions regarding witnesses who heard the gunshots from one room over and a lunch meeting between Mullins and Steins that took place earlier in the day.
I left the hearing today with a lot of questions still unanswered myself. We hoped that there may be more light that will be shed on the preceding events.
The Commonwealth's case against Steins will now head to a grand jury, the motive still unclear in a case capturing national attention.
You ready to proceed?
All
right, go ahead.
Is that a portion of the video?
Yes,
And were you able to identify the parties that we saw in that video?
That was Sheriff Mickey Steins and Judge Kevin Mullins.
And also, who had the firearm?
Sheriff Steins.
And then Judge was also in his black robe.
Yes.
Do you know what portion of the courthouse that is?
That is the judge's chambers
And where's that located at, physically located?
in the Letcher County Courthouse.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Would you like to cross-examine the witness?
I would, Your Honor. That was a short clip that was played there. How long do you believe that clip was?
That we just watched?
Yes, sir.
Just 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
10 or 15 seconds. In fact, the video that was taken in the judge's chambers between the meeting between Sheriff Steins and Judge Mullins, it's my understanding that video lasted much longer, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to review the video
I have.
of the prior incident?
I have.
And can you describe for us what happened immediately prior to the clip that we saw?
Sheriff Steins uses his telephone to make some phone calls.
He then borrows Judge Mullen's cell phone and appears to make a call on that. And that led to what you just saw.
Okay. So it's my understanding there were some people who were having a meeting with Judge Mullins prior to the sheriff's entry into the chambers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you identified those witnesses?
I don't know the names of them. There's about approximately 4 people in there. Then Sheriff Steins enters the judge's chambers and everybody else clears out.
You don't know their names?
Not right off, no.
Have you prepared a report that
In the process, yes.
You're in the process of preparing a report,
Yes, a lot of information.
but you've not spoken to any of those witnesses?
I've not directly, but they've all been interviewed. There's recorded interviews of those people in the case.
Okay, so other officers have spoken with those 4 witnesses?
Yes.
And what is your understanding of what those 4 witnesses have said?
I don't recall.
You have no idea what they said?
No.
I want to make sure I understand, had there been a hearing previously this day in chambers?
In the courtroom?
No, in chambers.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And so there's a video camera that is running in the district judge's chambers. Is that on all the time?
It's my understanding, yes.
And have you spoken with anyone about why that may be?
No. I mean, there's cameras throughout the courthouse.
Well, fair enough, but are you familiar with district judges' chambers normally, how they're set up?
No. I mean, some of them have video surveillance and some don't.
Right, but
This one does.
generally when they have surveillance, you agree with me that that is utilized when there is a proceeding going on in chambers, correct?
It could be, yes.
Okay. And I'm just asking, so this video didn't have an audio recording to it, correct?
No, there's no audio.
Outside of once the 4 people that were inside, that we don't know their names, once these 4 people had left the chambers, were they in an area adjacent where they could hear anything that was going on?
Yes, I believe some of them did remain in the next room.
Okay. And what did they tell us?
Do what?
What did they hear?
I've not been part, I wasn't part of those interviews.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, you're prepared for a preliminary hearing on a murder, and there are witnesses in an adjacent room.
I mean, they heard
Can I put
gunshots.
my question, please?
Yeah, let him ask the question.
Thank you, officer. So you are investigating a murder and testifying in a preliminary hearing, and there are witnesses who may have overheard what preceded this edited clip, yet you can't tell us today anything that they said?
I've not personally listened to those interviews. I've talked to the other officers that did those interviews.
Fair enough, and I mean, we're here at a preliminary hearing, as you know, that you can testify to hearsay. I'm asking you what they said.
They heard gunshots.
Okay, was there any statements that they overheard?
No.
Were there raised voices?
There, one person stated that she didn't recognize him as being Judge Mullen's voice, but heard somebody say, "Help, help."
Presumably that will be after the firearm was drawn or shot.
Objection, Your Honor.
I withdraw, Judge.
Withdrawn.
Oh, so is there any testimony that you can give us today about any statements or arguments or the content of that argument prior to the shooting?
No.
Okay. I want to ask generally, so did you process the scene? Are you the lead investigator on this case?
I am.
Okay, so as a lead investigator, I would presume that you would have secured the chambers and evidence once you arrived.
I was part of that, yes.
You were part of it, right? But you're the lead investigator, so you'd be in charge of those duties and delegating what should be done. Is that
No.
fair?
No, I don't delegate what's done.
Okay, so you're the lead investigator. What does that mean?
I'm the case officer.
Okay, so you're carrying the case. So I want to make sure I understand. Had Judge Mullins been removed from chambers when you arrived?
No,
Were you able to ascertain, did he have a firearm on his person?
we did not locate one.
You did not locate one?
No, there was not one in the chambers.
Okay. And there was none on his person?
No.
Okay. All right. Who was the first person to arrive on behalf of law enforcement to investigate?
They were already in the courthouse.
Fair enough, but I'm talking about in terms of people that we may see a report from or take part in this investigation. Who would be the first person?
I believe Trooper Jason Bates was the first KSP personnel on scene.
And you spoke with him, and
I did.
he searched and did not locate a firearm?
No, he didn't search the scene, no.
You
His
just-
role,
Sure.
his role at that point was security of the scene.
I understand, but I'm just trying to ascertain, you said earlier that there was no firearm found.
No.
I'm wanting to know, can you tell us, was it specifically searched for a firearm?
In the judge's chambers,
Yes, sir.
there was myself, Detective Chris Collins, Detective Scott Caudle, Detective Eric Caldwell,